Good morning and good afternoon. Welcome to another episode of Before Coffee. It is Thursdays 13. We have a list of, I forgot the alliteration already. Fallacies and Fantasies. Maga Fallacies and Fantasies that you can, I guess, disrupt.
Dispel.
Yes, you can dispel at your Thanksgiving feast if you celebrate Thanksgiving. And if not, I know there's Manga everywhere. I know this is crazy for Americans out there. If you didn't know this, there are Manga people in the Netherlands, they're in France, they're in Italy, they're all over the place. I don't know how they got invaded by the parasite. Fight them and Fantasies. If you're new here, this is first and only game show, Before Coffee, a father and daughter podcast. We look at our story. Started, we just got caffeine in our body, and we're learning to read and speak live on stream. So let's roll that segue wheel. But of course, first, our headlines. Today on Thursdays 13. France plans new voluntary military service, as well as other countries in the European Union.
Greetings, I guess it's my turn. Greetings from the United States, where Campbell Soup executive decided that his soup is just for poor people, and now he's out of a job, and we're going to talk about medications for osteoarthritis, or probably not the best treatment.
Will the budget slash of £150 off the energy bill work for the UK? And breaking news coming out of Indonesia, they were hit by a huge earthquake, I think, for the night slash the middle of their day.
Thursday 13, we're going to talk about how to deal with that uncle who just won't shut up with his opinions based on his own opinions.
And in my culture news, the era-defining Xbox 360 reimagined gaming, and Microsoft never matched it. This is a piece by Keza McDonald on The Guardian.
And it's Thanksgiving Day, but it's also National Craft Jerky Day. So if you're going to make your own jerky, today's time to do it. Get away from your family. Go out in the garage and cut up your beef and start dehydrating. It is November 27th, 2025 on Before Coffee.
That's right, I love beef jerky. He used to do that all the time. Was that like your midlife crisis thing, or you just liked making beef jerky? I feel like you didn't do it before, and then suddenly you started doing it all the time.
You love telling me I'm in a midlife crisis. It seems like you're catching up for me.
I will admit it was a leading question, but I'm not telling you that's how you're feeling. I was asking if that's how
As soon as I figured out I could make I could buy a dehydrator, which was not a thing you could buy before. Yeah, That's when I started making jerky.
Yeah, and it was a pretty cheap one, right? It wasn't very expensive.
No idea what it costs. Probably.
Oh, really? You bought it,
I
but
could
you
afford.
didn't like it. New on the market dehydrator. Okay, give me it. Put it in my shopping bag. I don't want to see the price.
I don't remember buying it. It might have been a gift. I really don't remember.
I feel like it might have been a gift too, actually. I feel like you did get it as a gift.
No idea. Not a clue. I mean, I don't remember everything. I remember some things, but it's weird.
You don't have to know the answer. It was just a question.
Okay, let's
get started.
I probably bought it as an afterthought. I don't know. It's just like it was good.
It was good beef jerky. I know a lot of people are very specific about their jerky, right? There's some people who want it like really almost soft, like almost still raw in some, which is not good, right? You've got like the ones you get in the store, the Jack Links and stuff. They're very, I don't know. I don't want to say they're still wet. I don't know. I liked how yours were. Yours were more dry and crunchy, and I like that. I like that way more.
As with all food, it's subjective. You like what you like, you don't like what you like.
Well, take the compliment. I'm saying I liked your jerky.
Yeah. All right. Thank you. Thanks for the
the forced compliment. Let's roll our segue.
I guess the fact that I never really got to really put it all in a bag or anything because I got eaten right away. That's
a good indicator how good it was.
Well, I got this beef jerky. Oh no, I don't have any. Okay, so again, I'm not making this anymore because what's the point? Somebody eats it before I can even store it up. All right, no, I'm just joking. I didn't do that. Anyway.
No, I definitely remember you having bags of beef jerky at some point. There was definitely at some point you had at least one bag.
Yeah. Yeah, for like 5 minutes. I don't think so. It never lasted. Never lasted through the week. Never lasted. There's no chance. Unless I hid it somewhere. Or I went on a trip. If I did it on a trip or something, that's about it. Okay, what did I spend?
I didn't roll it yet because I wanted you to finish speaking. Okay.
Oh, I was done a long time ago. I didn't want to say anything in the first place.
Bad
All right,
pun.
go ahead. What is it? Oh boy, bad pun.
Okay, we're going to be talking about military service in Europe. Nowhere in Europe, I think. I don't think. Maybe Sweden. I feel like there's a country, but not a lot of countries require service. A lot of it is voluntary. And this one is still voluntary. France is planning a new military service for 18 and 19-year-olds. This is by Sylvie Courbet on AP News. Coming out of Vassès, France. President Emmanuel Macron on today, the 27th of November, unveiled a new program meant to bolster France's armed forces by training thousands of volunteers aged 18 to 19 starting next year. Part of a broader response to concerns over Russia's threat to Europe in nations beyond the war in Ukraine. The young volunteers will serve in uniform for 10 months in France's mainland and overseas territories, not in military operations abroad, Macron said in a speech at Varsès military base, which is located in the French Alps. I think they're just saying that to make sure, like, if anybody gets killed, it's not going to be they were killed over in Syria or something, right? These are 18 to 19-year-olds that are going to be staying, doing probably grunt work, learning how to be a soldier for 10 months, so that if they do have to get conscripted, they already know how to do it. A new national service is set to be gradually established, starting from this summer, Macron said. In this uncertain world, where power prevails over law and war is ever-present reality, our nation has no right to feel panic, unpreparedness, or division. The program will start with 3,000 youths to be selected next summer, will gradually increase to 10,000 per year by 2030. France's ambition is to reach the 50,000 volunteers by 2025, a figure that will be adjusted depending on the context at it. Yeah, like if we somehow solve the thing in Ukraine in a way that's not going to cause another invasion, 2035, it could be a lower number. Or it could be 50,000 people. Volunteers will hold military status and receive wages and equipment. After a month of training, they will be assigned for 9 months to a unit in which they will perform the same missions as active military personnel. They will then join the military reserve, continue their education, or start working. So at around 19 to 20, they'll be ready to, go get a job or something. But they'll always be reserved. Those who wish to will be able to start professional career in the active military, Macron said. Regular soldiers in France generally enlist for 2 to 10-year renewal time. Conscription, which France ended in 1996, is not. I'm sorry for misspeaking about conscription. I still think asking you to start being in the military is technically conscription. I guess it's not the draft, right? Technically, it's a draft, right? You just pull a name and say, all right, Tom, you're in the military now. Get your boots and go out that door. They're not doing that in particular. This is still volunteer-based. But the fact that they're paying you, right? It might be a good 10-month job for you when you graduate high school, Go in the military, get some money, learn how to be a human being or something. Only under exceptional circumstances may Parliament authorize enlisting those whose skills were identified during a one-day defense course, which all youths go through, and make national service mandatory for those people. So there's a real killing machine they find on the field. It's like, sorry, you're joining the French military. You're just too good at shooting the targets. Retired General Jean-Paul Palmeiros, a former head of the French Air Force, said training the young volunteers could take a toll on the French military's structure. resources. But he said the new program would help France better prepare for future threats. It is good. It's a difficult path, especially because it requires financing and other resources, he said in a interview with the Associated Press. But nevertheless, I think it was needed somewhere to make sure that the young generation understand that freedom and peace are not taken for granted, and it doesn't come as a free lunch. Indeed. I saw a post on my social media yesterday when I was on the train that was Dutch people are starting getting handed out what to do in a conflict pamphlets, right? Like what to do if you run out of water, you have cell reception, you don't have how to survive scenarios that can happen if somebody bombs your infrastructure, right? And people were panicking in the comments, and I'm just like, I think it's good that people know how to deal with these things, because I think a lot of us have been living in a very peaceful time. If you look at history, have been living in a very long period of peaceful time, at least here in Western Europe and Americas as well, right? I mean, the United States has never had an actual external ground attack, right? You had Hawaii getting attacked, but nobody's ever touched the mainland and started bombing nuclear power plants. That's never happened. But you should be knowledgeable about what you should do if that happens.
Well, never's a long time.
Yeah.
War of 1812 was fought in America by British and Americans.
But I'm just saying, right? There's nobody alive. Okay, there's probably some people alive that experienced the end of World War II, maybe, but there's not a lot of
lots of people. Thousands of people are still alive from World War II. Right? Sorry.
No, that experienced
it was only 80 years ago.
World War II. I think there's people who were born after World War II.
There's plenty of
100,000 90-year-olds. I don't know about that.
In the world?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure COVID killed no, not in the world, in Western countries. Huh. I think COVID killed a lot of them, sadly. The point is, they're not any help anyways. We need people who are, 30, 20-year-olds, 50, 60-year-olds know how to deal with that stuff, because they don't know. Okay?
That's right.
You're not telling me you know what it's like to be in a life with that. So, either way, that's my point. It's good to get people prepared, especially if you need a group of soldiers, a military force. You should get them prepared to be in the military instead of dragging them in, and then they're like, oh god, I'm about to die in the front lines. Macron previously said France is seeking to boost its defenses as Russia's war in Ukraine puts the European continent at great risk. France's new army
over 100,000 Americans are 100 years old. Sorry, go ahead.
Okay. France's new Army Chief Staff General Fabien Mandon last week. I thought you said go ahead, but now you're talking.
I just said it's a small percentage. It's an insignificant percentage, right?
France's new Army Chief of Staff General Fabien Mandon last week sent a warning about the nation's need to get prepared to lose its children in the event of a potential conflict with Russia, words that prompted an outcry across the political spectrum. Yeah, maybe you should tell Russia, get the fuck out of Ukraine then. Russia annexed 20% of Georgia's territory in 2008, Ukraine's Crimean Peninsula in 2014, and launched a full-scale invasion on Ukraine in 2022, General said. Hello? Follow the signs. Appeasement doesn't fucking work. It didn't work in World War II, and it's not working today. Unfortunately, Russia today, based on this information I have access to, is preparing for a confrontation with our countries by 2030. It is organizing itself for this. It is preparing for this. And it is convinced that it is essentially an enemy to NATO. Macron has announced a €6.5 billion or $7.6 billion in extra military spending for these next 2 years, trying to get this initiative started. He said France will aim to spend €64 billion in annual defense spending by 2027, the last year of his second term. That would be double the $32 billion spending in President 2017. Yeah, I mean, it's really sad. I think a lot of people were saying this after Crimea happened, that they needed to get ready to fight Russia, because they kind of just let them take Crimea from Ukraine and didn't do anything about it. And it was definitely a warning sign. The planned defense budget for 26 and 30 period includes an additional expenditure of over €2 billion for the national service, Macron said. France's military currently comprises about 200,000 active personnel, to double the amount of people who were alive in World War II, and over 40,000 reservists, making it the second largest in the European Union, just behind Poland, which we've talked about Poland before. They have the largest military moment. So everyone needs to kind of, and they need to because they're right on the border of Russia. But everyone else should probably match Poland so you can back that up. France wants to increase the number of reservists to 80,000 by 2030. France is not the only European nation boasting its military capabilities. Germany is rebounding its efforts to attract more recruits via a new military service. The plan remains to be approved by Parliament. Belgium's defense minister sent a letter this month to 17 to urge them to sign up for this year, with the aim to select 500 candidates to launch the program in September. Poland has recently started rolling out a new voluntary military training program that aims to train 100,000 volunteers per year from 27 as it seeks to build an army of reservists with worries about Russia's threat. It isn't considering a
Europe
service, but rather a reserve system. 10 EU countries have compulsory military service. Austria. Okay, so I said this at the beginning of the article. I don't know if there are countries that have this, but there probably are. And Sweden is one of them, so I was right. Sweden has compulsory military service. Austria, Cyprus, Croatia, Denmark, Estonia, Finland, Greece, Latvia, Lithuania, and Sweden. 10 countries has compulsory military service, so they've already had a running reservist plus normal military service.
Also at the Nobel Prize.
Yeah. So that's very, very Nordic, right? Denmark, Finland. Well, no, Finland's technically just Nordic and Scandinavian. Sweden, they all have compulsory military service. Norway, who is not a member of the EU, also has mandatory military service. And in women, the length of the service is 2 months, Croatia 19 months. So, thank you for those guys for keeping your military, I guess, up the top. Nothing about the Netherlands in here, though. Not that they've always had a defense army, but they've never had like an active military. You got a bad pun?
I like how you end the story. You just drift into it. Like, yes, I have a pun. Damn, Europe! Some of you leave a window open. It's getting awful drafty in here. There's your pun.
Hopefully not, right? It sounds like they just want everyone to be ready instead of having to draft their people.
There you go.
Maybe the Netherlands will draft people. I don't know.
Appreciate it. Appreciate it, Homer. All right.
I'm sure that a lot of these countries really appreciate immigrants, by the way, when they're volunteer for military service, right?
Yeah, United States has over 100,000 immigrants in our army, but we treat them like shit when they get out. So yay, America! I'm sorry.
Thanks for serving the country for your green cards. That we could say actually your green card no longer counts. Fuck.
Let's do this story. Another story?
Nope.
Okay, so we're gonna
go.
2 stories. The first one is executive disconnect from reality.
All right, you a limerick.
I know how poor people eat. Oh, limerick. Oh boy, I got 2 stories, so I guess we're gonna have to do 2 limericks. Sorry about that.
Thank you for wishing me a happy affiliate anniversary, King Kong. I hope you're having a good Thursday.
Limerick. Okay, limerick time. This is from NBC News. Joel Kotke. Campbell Soup fires executive accused of making racist remarks. Campbell's has fired an executive accused of making racist remarks and mocking its products and customers, the company announced on Wednesday. The termination follows a lawsuit filed in Michigan by former employee Robert Garza against Campbell's, the company's then vice president of information technology, Martin Bally, and another manager. The complaint alleges retaliation in hostile work environment, citing a November 2024 meeting between Bally and Garza to discuss salary, according to the lawsuit. Garza allegedly recorded the conversation, and the audio obtained by NBC News is more than 90 minutes long. During the interaction, the lawsuit alleges that Bally described Campbell as a highly processed food, correct, and said it was for poor people. Well, if it's for poor people, maybe just price it lower, huh? How about that? If it's, I'm saying, why is it, if it's for poor people, why is there soup right next to it on the same shelf that costs like 50% less?
Yeah.
It's not for poor people. It's for you to make money, right? It's your bottom line. That's what it's for. And again, all you've done, Campbell's, over the years is make your cans smaller and claim that you're selling it at the same price. So stop with your chicanery. He also allegedly made racist remarks about Indian workers, calling them idiots. I think we're talking about India, the country. After a review, we believe the voice of the recording is in fact Martin Bali. Campbell said Wednesday the comments were vulgar, offensive, and false. We apologize for the hurt they have caused. The company said it does not tolerate the language used in the audio recording, and the behavior does not reflect its values. Campbell said it learned of the litigation and first heard segments of the audio on November 20th. Bali's termination was effective Tuesday, the company said. According to the lawsuit, Garza told his manager, J.D. Carl, who is also named as a defendant, about Bali's behavior in January 2025 and wanted to report the comments to the Human Resources Department. He was not encouraged to report the comments, the lawsuit claims, and was then abruptly terminated from employment later that month. Ooh, he's going to win this lawsuit. Okay, the situation has been very hard on Robert Garza's attorney, Zachary Runyon, said in a statement on NBC News on Tuesday. He thought Campbell's would be thankful that he reported Martin's behavior, but instead he was abruptly fired. All right. You know the old saying, squeaky wheel gets the grease. In this case, the squeaky wheel gets thrown in a dumpster. Garza is seeking monetary damage for the company, and he will get those. Bali and Opinionated did not immediately return requests for comment on Wednesday. Campbell said it was proud of the food we make. Good for you, you're stupid idiot you just fired wasn't. And the comments heard on the recording about our food are not only inaccurate, they are patently absurd. There's your story. I don't know if you had enough time to work up a limerick. I can sing a song while you're waiting.
No, we're good.
Okay.
I just had a little sneeze and then my brain sneezed out a limerick. That's
all right. All right. So you got your brain working. Awesome. Cool.
In a mansion where gold bricks align, lived a rich man who thrived on the fine. He'd profit from strife, and with no hint of life, he scoffed at the workers' hard line. With a grin, he'd count coins in a row, while he watched all the poor folks below. Why toil with such dread? Just let money spread. But respect for their struggle, no show.
So you wrote 2 limericks.
2 stanzas.
Well, it was 2 limericks. A limerick's only 5 lines. You wrote 2 limericks.
I understand what you're saying, but it's 2 stanzas.
But it's still 2 limericks.
Okay.
Gotcha. So, yeah, you gotta have rules for a limerick.
There was a limit on how many I could write.
5 lines. That's the limit. That's the same as a haiku. They're rules.
Well, it was definitely 10 lines, so 2 limericks. Yeah, I don't know why.
Like I said.
Okay.
That's 2 limericks. Even if they're related, they're still 2 limericks. I mean, a rule's a rule. Sorry. All right, next story. This one's a lot longer.
I was allowed to write, so I didn't even know we had
a limerick
rules.
There's a rule. Well, you got rules for haiku, right?
Yeah, but
I just make up rules
I've
for haiku?
literally provided 5 haikus in a row before, and you've never.
Right. That's right. That's right.
So...
There are 5 haikus, 5 individual haikus. Just like this is 2 individual limericks. So there you go. It's the same thing. I don't know why we're having trouble there. I don't know.
I don't know why you mentioned it. It was important. Okay. Next story.
Because I said something and you corrected me when I wasn't wrong. Earth.com scientists confirmed the best treatments for osteoarthritis, which is probably what I got because I got arthritis everywhere. Jordan Joseph. Just stuff
that happens when you get older, sadly. Yeah. Your body starts.
Yeah, I hate it when I hate it when my stuff is dismissed as old age because I do have.
It's not dismissed. It's a scientific fact that blood sugar goes down. You get your bones.
I get it. I get it. I get
things that happen when you get older. I did not say anything about you being old. I said that's what happens when you get older.
I heard what you said.
Okay.
All right. Scientists confirmed the best treatments. I'm sorry I brought up that I had it. I won't bring it up again. Earth.com. Scientists confirmed the best treatments for osteoarthritis are not medications. Medications, what do? Here's what you go to do in America when you go to the doctor and you want an MRI. They tell you, here's some medication. Now go get therapy. How do I get therapy for you don't even know what's wrong with me without an MRI? That's America. So that's all we do. We medicate things because it's cheaper and gets rid of you faster. Scientists confirm the best medications for osteoarthritis are not medications. This is from Jordan Joseph of Earth.com. Knee arthritis pain is often treated with pills, injections, or devices. New research shows that simpler physical therapies can give stronger relief with fewer risks in many patients. A new study of thousands of patients points to knee braces, warm water therapy, and structured exercise as top options for knee arthritis. These approaches work without adding new drugs and help people climb and walk with less pain. Most people with osteoarthritis, a joint disease that slowly damages cartilage and limits movement, are told to manage pain with pills. Because, hey, I went to medical school and all I learned was how to prescribe medicine. There you go. This is my entire career. I'm never going to do anything. I'm not a surgeon. I'm a general practitioner. I just got me a prescription pad. And that, unfortunately, is a lot of what medicine is in the United States, unfortunately. Today, about 528 million people live with osteoarthritis and probably hooked on Oxycontin by this time. And roughly 365 million have knee involvement. Knee involvement? Worldwide. I didn't know there was a thing called knee involvement.
I think I have knee involvement because my knee is currently on fire right now.
Really? Yeah.
Yes.
It's probably in your spine, right? Yeah. It's in your spine somewhere.
I just did yoga.
The work was...
it's from my quads.
Oh, okay. The work was led by Yan Lu, L-U-O, Yan Lo, a rehabilitation specialist at the First People's Hospital in Yanjiang in southwest China. Lu's research focuses on comparing non-drug therapies for knee osteoarthritis to help patients avoid unnecessary medication and side effects. Many people with knee arthritis rely on non-steroidal anti-inflammatory drugs, or NSAIDs, that reduce inflammation but can harm the stomach. There's a lot of that. These drugs also raise concerns about kidney stress and heart problems when used for long periods, particularly in older adults. A large review of NSAID used in people over 60 found higher rates of serious gastrointestinal bleeding and kidney injury among regular... I take the pain over the bleeding. Myself. I'm just living with pain.
I don't like when body parts are, doing stuff that are like that.
It's like
internally bleeding.
It's like when every time they prescribe me a medicine, I definitely read the things that's going to go wrong with me if I keep taking it. And I'm like, this is going to kill my liver, man. Instead of testing one treatment at a time, Lu's team compared many therapies at once. They used network and meta-analysis, a method that combines results from many trials so treatments can be ranked together. To build the comparison, researchers pulled 139 trials that tested 12 non-drug options for knee osteoarthritis. Those trials examined laser therapy, electrical stimulation, braces, insoles, taping, ultrasound, hydrotherapy, and several exercise programs. Researchers examined standard rating scales that scored pain, stiffness, and day-to-day function. These scores let them estimate which options work best overall without letting any single small study dominate the picture. Our analysis of nearly 10,000 patients reveals that simple, accessible therapies like knee bracing and water-based exercise outperform high-tech options like ultrasound. This could reshape clinical guidelines and to focus on safer, low-cost interventions, said Lu. Now we're going to talk about knee braces. A knee brace for arthritis is usually a rigid or semi-rigid device that wraps around the joint. By changing how body weight passes through the knee, the brace can take pressure off the worn compartment and reduce irritation to sensitive tissues. Clinical research on unloader braces, rigid supports that relieve pressure from one side of the knee, shows clear short-term pain relief. Several trials also report better function and longer walking distance when people use these braces consistently. This is all about knee pain. An overview of 14 brace studies reported that many users experienced better overall quality of life when they wore the device. Others have found that early signs of bracing could delay knee replacement for some decades. Braces have drawbacks, including bulk, skin irritation, and the hassle of wearing them for hours per day. Real-world studies suggest many people stop using their brace or wear it only briefly, so comfort and fit can influence success. It doesn't seem like a solution to me. I mean, you're passing this off as a solution, and the people that are wearing them are like, I'll deal with the pain. I don't want to wear this brace anymore. So it doesn't seem like it's a real solution. Hydrotherapy, though, involves a guided exercise warm water that supports body weight and lets joints move with less impact. A systematic analysis of aquatic exercise program found that water-based sessions reduce pain and joint dysfunction For people with osteoarthritis, those benefits were especially clear for participants who struggle to tolerate land-based workouts because of the poor pain or poor balance. In Luo's ranking, hydrotherapy rose to the top when combined with our arthritis score. When a combined arthritis score was used, capturing gains in pain, stiffness, and daily functioning together. That pattern fits reports from pool programs that work with older adults who have knee arthritis. In warm water, they can practice balance, strength, and walking drills without the sharp jolts they feel on dry ground. Of course, there's many, and these are catching on in the United States, underwater spinning classes, right? You just sit on your bike, your little stationary bike, but the bike's underwater. And you're weightless underwater. You're virtually weightless underwater. So all the stress on your bike.
And gravity.
And if you got, and I don't have crippling arthritis, although certain times I can't walk, but it's not the arthritis itself. But I do have a lot of times, but I can definitely see the benefit of like, yeah, man, my joints are not getting any extra weight. So I would say water therapy is your number one thing. Other things you can do more, let's see, I guess it doesn't do, and mostly about pool time. People living with knee arthritis can ask their clinician whether unloading a brace, an unloading brace or supervised exercise program is appropriate for their needs. They can also ask about referral. Of course you can ask. That comes without saying, right? That's kind of silly. Robust trials of these treatment packages are still rare, so the best mix and timing remain open questions. So yeah, I would say osteoarthritis, if you can sign up for, I know if you're a senior, there's all kinds of senior centers in your town or your city. Almost every place have it. And just see if they got exercise programs. And if they don't have underwater spinning and they have swimming, just suggest underwater spinning, right? You just got to somehow get a hold of about, a bunch of those cycles that work underwater without getting rusty, right? But there's your story. Let's have us some more limericks, or 4. Maybe you had time for 4 this time, huh?
I don't think so.
No, not enough time. Okay.
In a quest for relief from pain, pills for arthritis brought little gain. But with therapy's grace, found a new pace. And now dance free in the rain. Which is fitting because we're talking about water, swimming pools, right? Not the same thing, obviously, but...
Yeah, rain, water. That's right. Poetic license.
Get a little wet. Get a little wet. Have a good time.
That's why you pull out your poetic license.
That's it. Let's roll our segue for my story.
Okay. All right. Okay, sorry.
Wasn't that funny? Goodness.
Right.
We're going to talk about an energy bill slash in the UK that hopefully will bring relief to people this winter in the United Kingdom. See, that's what this article's about. You rolled a tele-joke.
Joke. Okay.
This is by Albert Toff on The Independent. Rachel Reeves has pledged that households will receive an average £150 off their energy bills through the scraping of an energy efficiency program. Sorry, scrapping. The scrapping of an energy efficiency program.
Or scraping. Mm-hmm.
Speaking on Wednesday on the 26th of November's budget, the Chancellor said the Energy Company Obligation, ECO, scheme will be ended to remove the levies that program adds to energy bills. The cut also will come by taking 75% of the cost of subsidies for older renewable projects, known as renewable obligations, off electricity bills and into general taxation for the rest of the spending period, saving £88 on average. So for anybody who doesn't make budgets, what that means is that they had a levy put on your energy bills to be like, because we're trying to increase renewable energy, we're going to make you, the consumer, pay for it. And also, I guess the levies were just like, oh, you're still using gas, well, you're going to have to pay extra because you're still using gas energy instead of solar. So they took all those off, and that will reduce the entire energy bill for an average of 154. This includes also €7 on VAT, so they took off the VAT tax as well. Ms. Reeves said that the high cost of energy was one of the greatest drivers of rising cost of living. as she announced the measure. I mean, it's been a problem since the Ukraine war started. That's when they had the energy crisis. I had to start turning everything off. We didn't have any heat. We only took showers at 12 p.m. Got solar panels so that we could give energy to our water heater so we could take those showers at 12 p.m. It was a huge deal, and it looks like it didn't. I think the EU was able to relieve themselves, but since the UK left the EU, they didn't have anybody to help. They have to do it all on their own. However, campaigners described the move to ditch the energy company obligation scheme, which provides efficiency measures such as insulation for homes, as a devastating blow that cuts funding for measures that permanently benefits. Announcing the change, the Chancellor said, the Conservatives' ECO scheme was presented as a plan to tackle food poverty. It costs households £1.7 billion a year on their bills, and for 97% of the families in poverty, the scheme has cost them more than it has saved. Uh-oh! Yeah, and it's not like they're not financing it, just financing it in general taxes instead of the actual energy, right? Your energy bill is going to be less, but you're going to have more tax somewhere else, I guess. Depending on what you do, right? If you are a poor family, you probably are already on the dole, which means you probably aren't paying taxes anyways, so. It is a failed scheme, so I'm scrapping the scheme along with taking other legacy cost bills. The government also said it would provide an additional $1.5 billion capital investment to tackle fuel poverty to the Farm Homes Plan, in addition to the $13.2 billion of funding allocated to the spending a year. Reducing the cost of electricity, on which most levies fall, relative to gas, is seen as a key to encouraging people to switch to clean electric technology, such as heat pumps and electric cars. But while the Chancellor's decision to take renewable subsidies off the bill are widely called for welcomed, campaigners said the scrapping of a ECO would cut funding for green homes from $20 billion to $15 billion over the course of Parliament. Okay, but we already learned that the ECO was not doing anything useful for people. It was just like a huge cost bargain. Don't worry, guys, trust us. It will work one day, right? It'll do something. Ed Matthew, campaigns director at the independent climate change think tank E3G, said, cutting taxes from electricity bills is a crucial step towards helping people to switch to clean energy. But this is overshadowed by the morally indefensible decision to scrap the National Insulation Scheme. So, well, maybe they can use that extra money to actually make a working one. This is exactly the kind of stickling plaster politics this government promised to end, and fatally undermines the best long-term solution to poverty. It will cost 10,000 jobs and prevent 1 million families from losing their homes in the next 4 years. But at least they'll be able to buy food. The most recent version of the ECO scheme failed as a result of regulation and oversight. Poor management, leaving thousands of poor quality and even dangerous solid wall insulation. Great, my house is going to catch on fire and kill everyone inside. But E3G argues that the obligation...
Your bills will go down.
Not axe, yeah. Your bills will go down if you don't have a house. Chaitanya Kumar, head of the Economic and Environmental Policy at NEF, said, removing the renewables obligation costs from the bill will help in the short term. The Chancellor is wrong to say the ECO scheme costs more than it saved. The problem is a broken retrofit supply chain, and not the principle of helping people cut their energy bills for the long term. Well, I think the problem here is, I know what they're saying, right? They're saying it was run wrong, that's why it didn't work. Okay, but that still doesn't take away the fact that it didn't work then, did it? It was run wrong, sure. That's why it cost a lot, but it still did cost them more than it saved, right? It didn't save any, it cost the people who are taking money, putting it into their energy bills for this obligation, lost out. That is the fact at the end of the day, right? That they lost out. Maybe they do have a plan to drop a better scheme. But they have to move some money around. Maybe they're saying how much they can make, put some budget somewhere else. But right now, I think they're trying to do a quick fix for the energy bills for this winter in this 2025 budget. And then maybe they'll come up with something later. Who knows? This is the problem when you have to undo, 12 years of one party having the ball in their court, okay? you have to figure out what you're allowed to move around and what you can replace, because there's so many things going for 12 years. Was it 12 or 24? It was a long time. By cutting 6.4 billion of ECO, and I'm not saying it's bad when one party is in power for 12 years. What I'm saying that's bad is that the Tories were in power for a long time, okay? Austerity, giving rich people free money and loopholes and ways they can avoid taxes. While the
Brexit.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. The specific Tory application of running a government for 12 years is what is, they need to fix that.
You poor people will be fine.
How long has this Labour? I think the Labour government's is going to be in at like 2 years now. So they've only had 2 years to fix an issue that's been going for over a decade. And people are like, "Oh, you're not fixing the issue instantly." Sorry. And then when they do fix the issue instantly, wait a minute, your instant retrofit is not good because that fund is useful. If it worked right, can't win. Welcome to being in the government. By cutting 4.6 billion of ECOs a quarter and placing it in a 1.5 billion pound fund, the budget potentially leaves thousands of low-income households stranded in cold, inefficient homes and denies them the permanent savings that energy efficiency reliability delivers. Maybe the problem with this is, of course, when you're in a government, you do have to crunch the numbers out. And there could be a possibility here that they crunched the numbers. They found that, there's only 1,000 households who benefit from this initiative. We're cutting the initiative. Right? Only 1,000 of a whole country. Right? That could have happened too. Anyways, I know I'm giving Labour the benefit of the doubt, but I think we need to give them the benefit of the doubt, because as much as everyone's so used to playing together for everything, that's crazy. That you're not giving any other.
How could they didn't fix everything instantly?
That's my story.
The worst part about democracy, everybody thinks something's going to be fixed overnight somehow, when they don't even know what the problem is, right?
And also,
I don't even know what the problem is.
It took 10 years to even develop. The problem wasn't there 10 years ago, you know?
Yeah, so you don't know what caused the problem. You just want it solved, and you want to blame somebody. That's the laziest voters in the world, right? This is what we're in.
Well, these aren't voters. I guess they technically vote, but these are other people.
They're voters. They're all voters.
Right? Yeah. These are other people.
I'm just saying, everybody wants instant answer. Yeah, they're nitpicking. Who cares? You can't solve a problem by waving a magic wand. That's never existed except in movies, which is lazy movie making, which I've always said is lazy. Oh, they're in a problem. I know. We'll give them magical powers. Oh, that's right. Okay, let's write that into the script. Or a dragon. Let's put a dragon. I always hate that. It's lazy writing. All right. So my joke is, it's about Texas's power grade, by the way, not about theirs. But this is funny. What's the difference between Texas's power energy policy and a dumpster fire? What is the difference?
One is warm.
Close. The dumpster fire actually provides heat and light. So.
Except for El Paso, right? I was born in El Paso.
El Paso's not on.
And
El
they're
Paso
on
is
the
on.
New Mexico grid.
Get their power.
So.
They're gonna actually get from a nuclear plant in Arizona is where El Paso gets their power. Oh yeah, it's not in Texas. Has their own power grid.
You want to live in Texas and not freeze to death in the winter. El Paso. I hear it's not a great place to live, but I've never actually lived there. I was just born there.
You lived there. You lived there for 9 years, man.
No, I didn't live in El Paso. I'm talking about living in actual El Paso, like the city. We didn't live in the city.
Oh, I got you. Man, we did a lot of shopping.
I hear from people who lived in the city. It's not that great, but that's what people say about wherever they're from.
My old joke is we used to live in New Mexico, but we had to go shopping in Texas.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Right. And when we moved here, we moved to Hollywood.
Hollywood, yeah.
Right. Yeah, we moved to Maryland, but all the stores are in a town called California, Maryland. So I changed the joke. I said, "Yeah, now I live in Maryland, but I got to go shopping in California. It's ridiculous." So it got even worse.
Pretty good. And bonus
where's
joke.
my stupid joke? Bonus joke. Bonus lame dad joke. Now we're gonna get on to our.
One more story. This one's really short. It's just an update on.
Oh, okay.
Our
I gotta
hot
call another joke. All right.
In this case, it's an earthquake. So get an earthquake joke ready, because this is going to be a very short story.
All right.
Update coming out of Indonesia. We talked about Indonesia a bit yesterday when they were banning their cat and dog meat. And now we're talking about a huge 6.6 magnitude quake has hit Indonesia. This is on the Hindu by AFP, I guess. I don't know. Nobody else to provide information. A magnitude 6.6 magnitude earthquake has hit an island off the coast of Sumatra in western Indonesia today, according to the United States Geological Survey, USGS. No immediate reports of damages or tsunami warnings. That's good news. Huge earthquake, but no tsunami. The quake, which struck Simelu Island at 11:56 a.m., which would have been around 5 a.m. GMT, so 12 a.m. ish. Actually, maybe more than that. 10 p.m. East Coast. At a depth of 25 kilometers, prompted locals at the island to immediately rush outside. So it happened inside the ocean, not on the ground. I was sitting down at a coffee shop. Suddenly, the table was shaking. Many people rushed outside of the buildings and houses. Amadi, like many Indonesians, goes by one name, AFP. That's an unnecessary thing to say. If you're wondering why he doesn't have a last name, okay, we don't care if he has a last name. We don't need to know his whole life story. Anyways, he was rushing outside at his cafe. The earthquake was quite long. I think probably around 7 seconds or more. 7-second earthquake? That's a pretty long time. He said that there were several aftershocks, but the tremors were relatively shorter compared to the earthquake, adding that he had yet to receive any information about damages, which is good news. No buildings collapsed and killed him. The Indian Ocean Tsunami Warning Center said that the quake there is no threat of a potential tsunami generating from the quake. Indonesia's Meteorology, Climatology, and Geophysics Agency, BMKG. Welcome to the BMKG. Recorded the quake with a magnitude of 6.3 at the depth of 10 kilometers, adding that the jolt did not have the potential to cause a tsunami. Yeah, so it kind of lost its power as it rose up the ocean. The original quake at the ground was 6.6, but then as it funneled up the water, it just got less. Indonesia, a vast archipelago in Southeast Asia, experiences frequent earthquakes due to the position on the Pacific Fire. Literally cannot be an island archipelago if you don't have a ring of fire, you don't have volcanoes, and you don't have earthquakes. That's literally how they're made. So you kind of, I guess you don't sign up for it. My favorite thing to say is nobody chooses where they're born, but yeah, unfortunately you have to sign up for it at birth. Yep, you're gonna get earthquakes, you're gonna get volcanoes, and you're gonna get tsunamis. A magnitude 6.2 quake that shook Sulawesi Island in January 100 people, left thousands of people. This is a weaker earthquake caused more damage. In 2018, magnitude 7.5 quake and subsequent tsunami in Palu, also on Sulawesi, killed more than 2,200. Somebody check out on Sulawesi. What's going on over there? Do they have like bad tax brackets so nobody builds anything for them to survive earthquakes? They're just like, fuck those Sulawesi. They can go drown. That's very weird that those two earthquakes happened in the same place. But there's your story.
Related.
Luckily, nothing bad's happened, but earthquake.
Yeah.
Earthquake in Indonesia.
6.6. 6.6 seems kind of big, though, huh?
Yeah, I mean, it's
all
not
right.
a 4,
So my joke
you know?
goes. We're in Oklahoma. We had 2 6.0s in like 3 months, I think. Which is Oklahoma. Of course, it was caused by fracking. Our joke is, why did the seismologist not worry about the earthquake damage? Why did he not worry about the earthquake damage?
Okay, why?
Because it wasn't his fault.
Ah! That's a good one. That's a good one.
I know, right? Hey. We'll go to the writer's room.
Thank you for our joke writer. What's the name of our joke writer?
Our joke writer today is, let's see. Let's go to the writer's room and pull a name out of our ass. Today's joke writer is... Let's see. I don't think we have one.
We don't have a joke writer today. No.
I don't think we have it. I'm looking at my... It isn't oligarch or animosity, so I don't know.
Animosity.
All right, I don't know.
All right, the next segue is mixed metaphor for your story.
Animosity wrote that joke. How's that sound? Okay.
Okay.
All right, so I'm going to let you see if you can dispel these. These are the 13 that I came up with last night of stupid arguments that I always have to do. Most people have to dispel if they have any intelligence whatsoever. Is the arguments that the conservatives at your, they always make it on the internet, right? They're easy to dispel, but a lot of people just don't know that that's not even an argument. So the number one argument it's no specific order. So the first one I'll talk about is when they tell you it's not a liberal, United States is not a liberal democracy, it's a constitutional republic. That one. It's like, it's both things, right? Okay? There are types of liberal democracies, and one of them is a constitutional republic. That's right. There's other forms of government. It's like saying, my vehicle's not a truck, it's a Ford. It's the same thing. It's just another version of the same thing. So that idiotic argument is never really a good argument. And I think it's based on the fact that they don't like the word Democrat. Like, they don't like the word. They just think it's an awful word for some reason. Democracy? We're not a liberal democracy. Well, yes, we are. We're a constitutional republic. That's right.
Yeah,
we're a liberal democracy that has a constitutional republic.
Democrats and republics so much that people hate the word democracy.
Yeah, because Republicans hate words that might be interpreted some way by them, nobody else. But again, liberal is not a bad word. Democracy is not a bad word. Constitutional is not a bad word. Republic's not a bad word. They're just words that mean things. So when they come at you with these silly terms that they don't themselves understand, your argument is they're the same. They're not exactly the same, but they can both be true. Number two, illegals are driving up the price of real estate. Okay, the price of real estate goes up from Wall Street speculation alone. That is the number one driver of the prices of real estate because investment banks buy real estate.
Yes.
So number one driver is investment in real estate. Our real estate used to be called houses, right? We used to call it houses. At some point in our history, we went from calling things houses to real estate. And that was a trick of language. And that's a lot of things.
That could just be like a field in the back, behind your house. It doesn't have to be a house, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. A real estate is just a piece of land you own.
That it comes from the word estate, right? An estate, which is anything on the planet.
Yeah, we turned it into a commodity. We turned houses into a commodity alone. The same thing we've done with healthcare, the same thing we've done with prisons, the same thing we do with everything. We turn it into a commodity that can be traded. And no, prisons can't be traded. No, but the companies that own them can be corporations, and they sell stock. So there you are. It's a way to make money. United States is all about dollars, and not people, which is what it was founded on. There's nothing in the Constitution that says we got to be capitalist. Not one thing, not one word. And illegal aliens, in my experience,
let's not call them that.
Tend to a house.
They're not aliens. They're from the planet.
Immigrants, in my experience, immigrants who don't have any money are not buying big, expensive houses and driving up real estate. If they are
buying a whole
houses
block.
at all,
they're not buying a whole village of houses, a whole block.
If they are buying a big house, they're not buying it for your reason. Your reason to buy the big house is to fix it up and rent it out to maybe 3-4 families, and they can all cram in one place.
Yeah.
If immigrants are buying a house, they are probably 10 or 12 or 15 or 20. Who knows, right? There's no, it's not just a what do you want to call it, a trope that immigrants live in. They don't make a lot of money, and they don't have health insurance, and they don't have police protection, all that stuff, right? So yeah, they form their own communities, and they are not buying houses to drive up the prices. That's complete nonsense. The number 3, this is an old debate, the Second Amendment debate, which I totally agree. Second Amendment, I have no problem with people owning guns. I just know that the Second Amendment limits the amount of guns you can buy. Because if I wanted to buy, it doesn't say anything about guns. Second Amendment doesn't say anything about guns at all. It doesn't mention the word gun. It says arms. But the very first phrase in the Second Amendment is a well-regulated militia. Regulated. That's the most important word in the Second Amendment.
They tell people what to do.
Yeah, regulated means you can regulate weapons, and that's what the United States does. We regulate weapons. You cannot own an atomic bomb, right? You can't. And atomic bomb isn't arms, they say. It says in the Second Amendment, it says the right to bear arms. It doesn't say guns, it says arms. A nuclear weapon is arms. How do I know it's arms? Because when we had strategic weapons limitation talks with the Russians, they were called START, the Strategic Arms Limitations, right? Arms, they're arms. You can't own a nuclear weapon. Therefore, the Second Amendment has limitations, and the government can set them. Also, if you're worried about the Second Amendment and you're ignoring the Fourth Amendment and the 14th Amendment, you need to realize that the Fourth Amendment no longer applies in the United States, and neither does the 14th Amendment. These are the two amendments that guarantee you against unlawful search and seizure, that give you security in your own body, your own body autonomy. Those things have been eliminated by our federal government over time, and everybody just goes, I didn't know we had those rights. They're pretend rights. Oh, that's right. But the Second Amendment, for some reason, is the only one they cling to, even though without the Fourth Amendment, the government just kick in your door and take your guns anytime. So I don't know what good the Second Amendment is without the Fourth. So there's my argument. What do you got? A better argument? I would like to hear it, but that's my argument.
No, you're completely right. It's just
it's like
I like how we like to listen to laws, but you know what? When laws are written, they're written with very specific language so that you don't get confused. Somehow we still got it confused. It's really impressive, honestly.
Yeah, we apply it the way we want to, depending on who's paying us. I mean, that's the Supreme Court nowadays. Number 4, tariffs are conservative doctrine, which is hilarious. What was the name of that act in 1930? So I closed that window. But tariffs are not conservative doctrine.
I'm going to interrupt you real quick because Vanka just asked, how are they going to take your guns if you have them to shoot people with? And, well, they've done that before. I believe it was called Waco, right? A bunch of people in a house with guns, and the police came to take their guns, and they all died. So that's the government will win. They have a military.
That's exactly how. Yeah. That's exactly how. Meanwhile, you have the military in a bunch of cities these days for no good reason.
Reminder that Trump is invading other states with other people's National Guard. So that's how they do it.
If I got a
Floridians don't care about taking guns away from people from Illinois. They don't care about people from Illinois. Yeah. So they will invade your house.
They don't care about you.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're going to talk about guns a little bit later, too. But you're right. Absolutely right. If you think you got guns and you can outgun the United States government, you're wrong. They have concussion grenades. They have tear gas grenades. They have
drones. They'll just bomb your house. They don't need a
nerve gas.
Yeah, Ivanka, they don't need to kick down your door and take your guns. They'll just shoot you from the stratosphere with a drone.
And no knock warrants, by the way. No knock warrants are legal in this country. No knock warrants. It means kick in your door. No knock, no warrant, no nothing anymore. That's what ICE is doing, kicking in doors. Nothing. I mean, seriously. If you're going to come up guns a-blazing, I guess you better start now. But the thing is, they're going to kick in your door at 2 a.m. when you're asleep. That's what's going to happen. So, they're not going to come in the middle of the day when you're watching TV and sitting there with your shotgun across your lap. No, that's not going to happen. Number 5, you are all communists. That's my favorite one. You know, communist doctrine means the government controls everything. There is no private property whatsoever. So what these morons, and they are morons, they don't have anything intelligent going for them. They conflate socialism with communism. Socialism allows private property. Communism doesn't. There's your main difference right there. And by the way, we are a socialist country. We've always been a socialist country. That's never not been true. We have always had the government going in and giving people money when they're failing for some reason. So that's socialism every damn time. But it's usually the rich people that get it, so they don't complain.
Yeah.
So since we're not all communists, and none of these idiots who say this have ever lived in a communist country, They have no clue what they're talking about. Because if I was a communist, we'd all be living in a commune, and nobody would own a house. So that's not a thing. I mean, they called this in New York City. New York City's taken over by communists. Okay, so what is this guy? He's a communist. What's he going to do? He's going to tell Wall Street they have to take all their money and just give all the housing away and everybody shares everything equally? Is that happening? No, it's not. It's not communism.
Yeah,
the dude wants
you would be
free
able to
buses.
afford an apartment in New York City if it was communist. I'm sure they'd love that.
Free buses.
Yeah.
Free buses is communist now. You know that? Free buses. You know, by the way, Baltimore has free buses, and it has had free buses for at least 20 years. And you know that because when we went to that robo thing that we were doing, we took free buses all over that area of Baltimore. So free buses in Baltimore. Baltimore can do it. Boston can do it. Why can't New York do free buses?
The richest country in the world. Sorry, not the richest country, but the country that has is the most expensive to live in, Luxembourg. You know what they have? The whole country has free buses, free trains. Everything is free. You need to get somewhere, you can get there.
It might not. At least the guy we talked to said it was free. Anyway,
no, it's on the government website. It's
Is that right? I remember that was Luxembourg. We met the guy from the United States. Was there for like a month, and he said, "Yeah, I just get on." But we just got on the trolley from the train station.
No, that was you were thinking of Geneva. We were in Geneva when that conversation.
Was that Geneva? Okay.
Yeah. I know they're both rich countries that where everything's 20 million euros to buy. Yeah. They're not the same place.
Yeah, Geneva, another country that won't take sides. Another one. Okay, next one. Illegal aliens. Another one. Sorry, we won't call them illegal aliens, but that's the word they use. Are getting food stamps and government assistance. The only people in this country who are not citizens getting government assistance are people asking for, what is that? Asylum. Asylum does not make you illegal. Once you ask for asylum and you have an asylum hearing, you are no longer illegal. You are a status that is a protected status by the United States government, unless you're
They're literally giving you permission to be here, to have a life, and be safe from wherever reason you ran away. Yeah.
There is absolutely no way in any state for anybody who is not a citizen to get food stamps. Period. End of story. There is no way a non-citizen in the United States can legally get any food assistance, housing assistance without being here legally. If you're here illegally, you are living in the shadows. You have no protection from the law. The law enforcement doesn't protect you, so you have to do things like pay protection money to the local guy that you know is going to protect you because the cops won't do it. Mm-hmm. So they have stuff like that they got to deal with. And you're not going to call the police. You're here illegally. So the hate on immigrants, they assume they're all illegal just because they speak another language. It's just flat out racism. So if you got a racist like that in your family, I don't know where the hell he came from. I'm sure it's only from this part of the world.
So let them hang out with all the people that they like, which will be zero because they probably don't like anybody.
I would not be here without the immigrants that crossed the water. The last immigrants in my family tree are the ones that 1870 came from Germany. I would not be here without them. I would not exist. You would not exist. So immigrants are necessary for the United States. Once again, most countries, developed countries are losing population. Japan's losing population. China's losing population. Korea's losing population. United States is losing population. Not losing population because of birth rates, right? If our birth rates continue to fall, we can't replace the workers and our economy is going to collapse. You need immigration. Immigration is necessary for your economy.
Also, you know what immigrants do? They take any job offered to them.
They're not jobs offered to them.
Yeah, they're not choosy. Right. And a lot of the jobs that secretly run our society are immigrant jobs, migrant jobs.
And all the good food comes from other countries, by the way. Our number 7, Republicans believe in small government spending. This has never been true.
Well, actually, my dad would not still exist but in Germany because his family's German and Scottish and stuff. So
no, I wouldn't have.
The Scottish people have never met the German people to make you. That would have never happened.
The astronomical occurrence of me being born was a mere accident of a thousands of things over thousands and thousands of years. And if one of them went wrong, just one person just changing their mind, I wouldn't be here. That's it. I mean, that's a fact. Or you either, or anyone. Okay, so Republicans believe in small government, which is complete crap shit. Horror. They've never decreased spending in history. They've cut taxes on rich people and increased defense spending. And this year, the Doge nonsense, which they were supposed to cut government spending and give us a $5,000 dividend check in March. Never happened. Once again, we're just sitting here pretending that Republicans don't waste money, and that's all they do. That's all they do. The Republicans have driven up the national debt by more than Democrats over the years. Although the Democrats are probably total because they've been in power. First of all, we haven't always had a national debt, but since we've had a national debt, Democrats have been in power more years, so they probably added more. But per administration, Republicans average more. So nobody is in favor of small government. Republicans pretend they are when they actually spend more money. That was number 7. Got anything for that one?
No, not really.
Number 8.
I don't know where I stand on that. I guess I don't have my own opinion about that. As a globalist, my opinion is that we should have a Earth government, but I know that's not going to happen in my lifetime. But
I'm going to let you knock this one down before I comment. The Democrats are the ones who liked slavery. Can you knock that one down for me? Or
I think there's people who love slavery in every party because I genuinely believe there's a very small amount of people who come from families who've been in America since the 1700s or whatever that did not earn from slavery. Right? If you were here since slavery was legal, you got something from it. I don't know what, but you got something from it, okay?
You're completely letting them off the hook with that argument now. You're completely letting them off the hook. The real argument is to put these people on the hook. If Republicans believe are anti-slavery, then why is Pete Hegseth just put all those Confederate names back on those bases? He just did it this year. They were all changed. From Fort Hood was changed. Fort Bragg was changed. All of these military bases, names were changed from Confederate officers' names and Confederate generals' names to different names. The Republicans get in power and change them back to Confederate names. So if it's the Democrats who are in favor of the slavery, why are the Republicans changing these names back? Why? Why is that necessary? Are they trying to honor all these traitors? And the other argument, of course, is the Southern Democrats were in favor of slavery, not the Northern Democrats. And the Southern Democrats, in 1965, in the Civil Rights Act by Lyndon Baines Johnson, all of the Southern Democrats moved in 1968 in that election. They moved up the Democratic Party and they voted for George Wallace. Richard Nixon went down south and courted all of them. It was called the Southern Strategy. In 1972, all of those Southern Democrats voted for Nixon. They also voted for Reagan. They temporarily parked at Jimmy Carter because he was a Southerner, but they have never gone back to the Democratic Party at all. They all registered as Republicans. There's your answer. There's when it happened. It happened during my lifetime. 1965, the Civil Rights Act made every Democrat in the South vote Republican. Not right away, but eventually. And their children to this day going, Democrats! And then they try to cover it by saying Democrats are in favor of slavery. Can't find one Democrat anywhere in favor of slavery anymore, but they sure as hell think it's true. Number 9, there's an open border. Okay. Not even the Canadian border is an open border anymore, okay? It used to be. And having worked on the border for 9 years and seen every inch of the border except maybe Big Bend, which is a wild, wild place where the Rio Grande goes through. I haven't been that whole length, but I've been basically every length of it. The border is only open in those days out in Arizona. It had a barbed wire fence, but that was out in the desert of Arizona in the middle of an Indian reservation. And because the Indian reservation, actually, the Indian treaty gave them free passage across borders, which is, but they probably put up a fence by now. But this open border nonsense is just racism. It's just naked racism. That's all it is. There's no increase in any crime coming from the border. Being increase in immigration does not mean an increase in crime. It never has. It's just racism. But the open border, it's the dumbest thing I ever heard in my life. That's never existed. It's never existed. Ever. It's never existed in your lifetime, my lifetime, anybody that's still living. It's never existed. Number 10. Did you have something for that?
Nope. I don't know what else to add.
Now we're gonna get on to things that. Now we're gonna get on a couple of things we can agree on with our crazy uncle who won't shut the hell up. Something about that Butler, Pennsylvania assassination thing doesn't add up, your uncle says, and you go, wow, uncle's on the same page with me. Don't interrupt your uncle. Let him talk. Let him get out there. Why did that kid's body get cremated? How come we haven't heard anything? Why did the photographers get to take pictures of Trump? Why weren't they all hitting the deck? Why didn't Trump hit the deck? Why didn't the Secret Service take him and hide him instead of letting him pop right back up a couple of times? Did they know there was only one sniper?
My dad's point, Vanka. He's saying that if 1,000 people cross over the border, doesn't matter. That does not increase crime. 1,000 people coming over a border does not indicate crime increase.
There's no correlation.
There's no correlation.
There's no correlation.
There's no cause.
There's no correlation.
So,
people
anyways,
crossing
continue
the border
with your very suspicious assassination attempt. That was totally not a setup.
Since American citizens commit crimes at a higher rate than non-registered civilians, what do you call it?
Well, even just actual registered ones, just actual registered immigrants. Humans have this. All humans all over the world have the same ability to commit crimes. There's not a genetic marker that indicates that you commit crime just because you're from Mexico.
Immigrants are so glad. Most immigrants are so glad to be here, so glad to have a job. They are just going to behave themselves, and that's the truth. So anyway, back to number 10. Yeah, nothing about that adds up. Not a damn thing. And then the right wing, like Candace Owens, a lot of these people are really starting to get suspicious about, really? Why isn't Trump? He attacks everybody. He never attacks that kid that supposedly shot him, which again. And has anybody located that firefighter's family that supposedly got shot? I'm dubious about all of that. I mean, I'm not necessarily a conspiracy theorist, but that thing was fake. That was just straight up fake. That whole thing, just none of it adds up. I've seen assassination attempts. We've all seen them. The Secret Service doesn't act like that. When Ronald Reagan was shot, they shoved him into the back of the limousine and hit the floor and went to the hospital.
They didn't leave him there, yeah.
Right.
Yeah. They have his
Trump
celebration speech.
Three Secret Service agents let him pop up again, and then they pull him back down and let him pop up again. They let photographers run in front of the stage to take pictures. Okay, if there's some active shooter, you're letting photographers just run in front of the stage and take pictures. That whole thing was staged. Number 11, you can agree with them on this one too. And there's something about that Charlie Kirk thing that doesn't add up. Yep, there's something about that one that don't add up too, right? Man, that kid was a perfect shot, wasn't he? Huh? What a perfect shot. From that angle? Wow.
It does add, no, that I have to it does add up because it was a more far right person. You've got like junior Nazi versus senior Nazi. The senior Nazi took out the junior Nazi because he was a Nazi enough. That's what happened.
Let's not forget that the first thing the police did was they released a bunch of information trying to frame him as a liberal, right? Yeah. He was drawing little things on his bullets,
trying to make it into that's what I'm saying. A partisan thing when it wasn't.
Mm-hmm. Well, the conspiracies can go any direction. That's the way conspiracies work. But they only exist when we're not getting the whole story, and it just reeks of conspiracy. Reeks. Both of these reek of conspiracy. And why would you trust the guy who tried to call the 2020 election fraudulent? The whole party's like that. They don't believe reality. Okay.
I didn't say he was a right-winger. I said he was a far-right Nazi. How was he one?
I have no idea what his politics was.
Vanka, you can't ask these questions like, can you prove that? Yeah, go look up his fucking Facebook page. He was the far right. Everyone knows he was in the far right party. Like,
if you believe he was the actual shooter, have at
and if you
it.
don't
But
believe
I have
Charlie
no.
Kirk
I have
wasn't far right, then I don't. You don't not listening to his politics, I suppose.
again here. A few days later, a week later, or whatever, there's the guy that shot two ICE detainees, and they say, "Oh, he was aiming at the agents, and he had his name engraved, or what is it?
Who was
He had
going out there and engraving bullets? I think that's weird
he had
behavior. I don't care.
anti-ice stuff. I'm talking. He had anti-ice stuff engraved on his shells. I'm like, that just means he's trying to set somebody up. Have you ever watched Columbo? Right? Have you ever watched any shows? It's an obvious trick. Nobody leaves that kind of evidence unless you're trying to point the evidence somewhere else. But here we are, right wing, going, "Oh, that's obvious." No, it ain't obvious. It's obvious to me, the opposite. So there you go. You haven't solved anything. As it is, we don't know what happened, and we're probably never going to find out. And the way Charlie Kirk's widow is acting is just straight out of strangeness. Number
Let's
12.
go back to the Victorian times where when you're widowed or whatever, you disappear from society for like 2 months.
Man,
That's what we should be doing.
Yeah, something like he was too young to die at that age. You should be hiding away, going like. But she's out there in friggin' leather pants. Leather did that go out in the 80s? Leather pants? I'm sorry.
I don't know. I don't know about fashion. I don't care about clothes.
I'm just saying. Can you? Is that the new widow wear leather pants? Number 12. Socialism is bad. I love this one. Socialism is bad. PPP loans went out for $1 trillion to rich people that never paid them back. That kind of socialism is bad for sure, because that's what drove our inflation, right? We just gave away, it wasn't the only thing, but hell, free money from the government. Woo! So again, when rich people get money, it's not bad. When poor people can barely exist without food stamps, they're leeches, even though they got 3 jobs. So socialism, there is 181 billion annually in the United States for corporations. Corporations that sell stock on the stock market that we buy, that is artificially propped up by government money, and all the right wingers don't give a shit. They're like, "Ah, of course, they're rich, they're special," even though billionaires aren't necessary. Socialism for me, but not for thee. Can you fill in some? What would your argument be?
My argument about this? I don't like, what do you want? I don't want to argue with you. I did that enough on Tuesday.
Okay. Right on. Number 13. All right. We're going to number 13. This one came up yesterday. This is my favorite. Liberals are behind all the violence. And they co-opt that one with liberals don't buy guns. Those two things are true at the same time. Liberals are responsible for all the violence. However, they don't own guns. I hear this all the time. Liberals, every liberal I know owns a gun. Every single one. Like, just in my family alone. The liberals I know in my family own guns. The conservatives I know in my family don't own guns. Or they don't shoot guns. They might own them, but they sure as hell aren't at the range every day.
People are also just hunters, right? So that's why they have guns. I think the gun hobbyist is a very rare creature, right? It's not. It doesn't exist everywhere like that. Most people have guns because they hunt, right? They have a rifle or something.
Right, hunting guns. Yeah. Now, liberals are less likely to be gun nuts, I will say that. I don't need an AK-47. I have no purpose for it. You can only shoot one well-aimed round with a automatic weapon. Your first round, the rest of them are going all over the frickin' place, right? As soon as you pull that trigger, you can't hold that gun still. So one well-aimed round per 3 seconds maybe is all you can do, like one at a time. It's a useless weapon except for mass casualties. That's it. And at some point in your life, do you need mass casualties? I don't think you do. You buy that thing so you can shoot pumpkins. That's all you're buying it for. So there you go. There's your silly arguments from Thanksgiving. Hopefully you have a great meal and people start talking. You got a mouthful of food so you don't have to argue with them. And I was just going to point out, I have, of my living siblings, I only know of one who is a gun owner besides me. I own a gun. My brother owns a gun. My other 2 living brothers, they, as far as I know, don't own guns. I never went deer hunting with them, so I don't think they own guns. And my sisters don't own guns, so. And they're all conservative. They don't own guns. Me and my liberal brother own guns. So here you go. Go figure. There's your story. Let's have, I forgot what everything was going on now, but, I just dropped something in my coffee. That sucks. All right. Let's have it.
Okay. Thank you for that extensive list. I tell a joke. Right? I don't know if I have a joke about any of this stuff particularly, but I do have some Thanksgiving jokes, right? Thanksgiving dinner jokes. What's the best dance to do on Thanksgiving?
Turkey. I don't know.
The turkey trot.
Sorry.
Laughing already, and I haven't even done the joke yet.
That's my computer's fault. Okay, it's good.
What always comes at the end of Thanksgiving?
I don't know.
The letter G.
Oh, wow. The original OG.
What kind of key can't open a door?
What kind of what?
What kind of key can't open a door? This one's easy.
A turkey?
Yeah, there you go. A turkey.
Bad fun.
You can do that. There's a groan for you there if you want to do that.
Oh, yeah, that's a groan. Oh, yeah, groan. Okay, those all your jokes?
Yeah, that's it.
I guess we'll spin again. I thought I closed that.
Let's spin that wheel.
Spinning. We'll get the show done sooner or later.
News.
What do we got?
We've got. You have to tell me a joke now. We're going to be talking about video game consoles. So I'm sure you know all about that. Well, if you don't know about it, I'm about to tell you about it. Now, the reason I'm looking at the story is because actually the other day I was on Threads. I think yesterday actually, getting my visa, and there was somebody who said, "I'm not buying a new console anymore. They all suck and they're a waste of money." And then I said, "Yeah, Microsoft hasn't been good since the 60s." That's what I said. That's my opinion. As somebody who doesn't use consoles, that's my opinion. But
right.
Keza McDonald, who probably has more information about this than me, has also a similar opinion to me. So we're going to read this and see if we agree, or if, people in chat disagree. But this is about, the history, the golden era of the 360. All right, let me go to the story. Let me put myself on screen here. 2 decades on, and its influence still lingers, marking a moment when gaming felt thrillingly new again. Almost 20 years ago, on December 1st, 2005, to be precise, Keza was at her first video game console launch party somewhere around London's Leicester Square.
Leicester Square, it's called. Leicester.
I've never heard that. I'm pretty sure it's Leicester.
It's in a song by...
Oh, okay.
Nope, it's in a song by The Clash.
It doesn't matter. Nobody here is from the UK, so nobody cares. Maybe Rick cares.
I care. Pronounce it right.
It's called Leicester Square. Arrived. I'm not... It doesn't matter.
Okay.
The Xbox 360 arrived on the 22nd of November, 2005 in the US and the 2nd December in the UK, about 3 months after Keza got her first job as a junior staff writer at the Games TM magazine. Her memories of the night were hazy because it was a wormly long time ago, and B, there was a free bar. But she did remember that DJ Yoda played to a tragically deserted dance floor. Everything was very green, and the memories of the console itself, however, the games played on it, are still as clear as the Xbox Crystal. Get that reference? It's Xbox Crystal. Okay. Xbox Crystal. All right. It was up there with one of the greatest consoles ever. In 2001, the first Xbox had muscled in on a scene dominated by Japanese consoles. Upsetting the established order, it outsold Nintendo's GameCube by a couple of million, and dragging console gaming into the online era with Xbox Live, an online multiplayer service that was leagues ahead of what the PlayStation 2 was doing. I agree. PlayStation 2 on the internet was just awful. It was not good. It was not good at all. So, Nonetheless, the PS2 ended up selling over 150 million to the original Xbox's 25. That's crazy. Wow, that's a crazy number. The Xbox 360, on the other hand, would sell over 80 million neck and neck with the PlayStation 3 for the most of its 8-year life cycle. That's a long life cycle. People are complaining about the life cycles now. It turned Xbox from an upstart into a market leader, and then it never. It was very un-Microsoft way. The Xbox 360 was cool. Its design was interesting, an inward double curve described by designers as an inhale. Yeah, it looks like lungs inhaling, right? It does like this kind of thing. I would say like your ribs. With a swappable front faceplate, it had a memorable Y2K startup animation and a clean futuristic menu that brought messaging, friends, lists, and music. Yeah, even today, that Xbox achievement noise, I think, still activates a lot. Keza remembers finding Microsoft's marketing powerfully cringe at the time, witnessing the developer video featuring former Microsoft Entertainment boss Jay Allard and his infamous earring, in which a guy juggles while saying the words 3 symmetric chords. But despite that, the machine they built felt modern and exciting. The controller, too, white with pops of color, was such a tremendous improvement on the uncomfortably gigantic original Xbox controller that has become a design standard. Keza even still knows people who are still using a wired Xbox 360 controller to play PC games. I'm not one of them, but there is one upstairs. Robert has one. I'm using my Switch controller because the Switch is the first console I've ever bought that actually had a controller for PC. You could not connect your Wii nunchucks to your PC. As the first properly seamlessly connected console, it brought a lot of things together to form a sense of gamer identity. Games online under one unified gamer tag. Even today, people still use their gamer tags as their own entities, messages, and social features, as well as the inspired idea of achievements, which created a personal gaming history of little challenges you everything you played. Sony would soon copy this with trophies, and of course, Steam achievements are very famous as well. Attaching to that number, the gamer score was a devilish genius encouraging players to compete. The ultimate meaningless clout. Create a powerful incentive for people to stick with a console rather than buying games elsewhere. Wait, I need to play all these games on my Xbox so my gamer score. The Xbox 360 was the first console to understand that people stay where their friends are. You had a choice between buying a game on PlayStation 3, choose 360, because that's where everyone else was playing. I don't know why Melanie had a 360. I only had a 360, and the only game I ever played on it was Fable 2 and Final Fantasy 13, which is Blanca, of course, favorite game of all time. And it was actually the first Final Fantasy game to be released on not the PlayStation. So the first one was a very big deal because Xbox 360 actually had better graphics at the time Final Fantasy 13 came out. By late 2006, when a complacent Sony released an overpriced and awkward-looking follow-up to PlayStation 2, the PlayStation 3, the Xbox 360 had already had a year to convert people to its vision for high-definition gaming. People had already built up a collection of games and online identity. Oh, the audio's being funky. Sorry. Okay. Is it maybe I need to talk closer to the mic? Yeah, I'm not sure why it does that. I've noticed it does that. I don't know why it does that suddenly. It starts audio ducking. By the late 2006, when a complacent Sony released an overpriced and awkward-looking follow-up to the PlayStation 2, the Xbox 360 had already had a year to convert people to its vision for high-definition gaming. People had already built up a collection of games and an online identity that was tied to Xbox, the big third-party publisher who found the PS3's proprietary technology awkward to develop for, had started to prioritize Xbox for platform games. I think originally the Xbox used like Windows developing tools, so that's why it was also easier to develop for, right? PlayStation had its own dev system you had to learn, new programming you had to learn, and it was just too difficult. But in the rest of the world, it became a default console. But it never cracked Japan, an extraordinary thing for Microsoft to achieve, considering how comprehensively Sony had dominated the previous 2 generations with PlayStation. No, that's why I agree. That seemed like the golden age of console gaming was the PS3, 360 era. I mean, I think that's also when the Wii came out, which the Wii did its own fundamental changes to the gaming sphere. But we're talking about the 360 today. Xbox Live Arcade also helped to usher in the modern era of indie games. Between the 90s and the late 2000s, publishers and brick-and-mortar retailers largely controlled which games did and didn't make it to players' hands, especially on consoles. Oh, you really want that game they released there? Well, sorry, we don't have any. We didn't buy any for stock. In 2008, Xbox Live Arcade started letting people download smaller, cheaper games direct to their console storage. No shop or publisher required. It did for console gaming what Steam would later do on PC, getting players comfortable with the idea of digital distribution. Games released via the arcade included Geometry Wars, Braid, very good game, Limbo, another great game, Bastion, and just importantly, the best ever digital version of Uno. That's right, you want to play Uno on 360? Well, it's there. She remembers sinking many, many hours into Oblivion, Mass Effect, and Bioshock, still great staples to gaming to this day, but largely awaited each new batch of Xbox Live Arcade games. Looking back, the architects of the 360 really understood how and why people played games, and what they wanted from a generation console, next generation. They understood how the internet could transform not just multiplayer gaming, but the social experience around games, and the way people found and bought them. This knowledge was apparently lost in a few short years because when Microsoft announced the Xbox One in 2013, it was an absolute shit show. By then, Microsoft apparently thought that people wanted to play games while watching sports picture-in-picture, as a mandatory connected camera watched your every move. Microsoft had never again come close to the market leadership in video games. A resurgent Sony took at all the best lessons from Xbox 360 and packaged them. And then the Nintendo Switch arrived in 2018 and blew everyone else out of the water. With Xbox now in a distant third place in the winning console war, it seems to see its future as a quasi-monopolistic video game rather than a hardware maker. This is a reference to the Game Pass, in which you can pay a subscription and get access to a huge library of games that you'll never be able to play in 1 month. So that's how they keep you paying for it until the end of your life. Nintendo Switch blew the consoles out of the water. They changed it up, okay? They changed it up. They're not saying they won the console war. No, they're not. I think they might have won in actual sales numbers. But I think we're talking about what they changed and how people played video games. The Switch changed that up because now, instead of having to sit down on your couch to play a video game, I can put it in my backpack and take it on the train. That was a thing before with Game Boys and stuff, but it was the fidelity of an Xbox 360 in your pocket instead of the fidelity of a freaking NES in your pocket. That's what the
it'll
Switch
all
changed
change.
up. Anyways, we're not talking about the Switch, Vanka. Stop changing the subject. Series that defined the 360 era, such as Halo and Gears of War, are now playable on PC and PlayStation.
Right,
others, such as Fable, have been languishing for over a decade. Do not bring up Fable 2. Every time I think about it, I'm like, why hasn't anybody... Like, is there no... They must have developed it really well, and they can't get the source files, because there should be, at this point, 20 years later or something, somebody to make their own fan-made version of Fable 2. It just has not happened. The 360 era was an exciting time in games, a period of great change and competition brought about by online gaming. The console market was a lot smaller back then, but also less predictable. There was still room for those interesting 7 out of 10 B games that sometimes proved even more memorable than the blockbuster AAA games and of course free-to-play games are not yet a thing, were yet to consolidate into 5 established mega franchises that now dominate everything. And in bringing indie games to console players, it generally changed the trajectory of games. So, I guess if you want to read about what to play on the 360, if you happen to own one still, and that hasn't had I find it interesting she did not mention the Red Ring of Death, which was very famous. And if anybody doesn't know what that is, the 360 had a hardware issue where it got too hot. Mostly from people, I mean, you can't really clean a console's fan and outtake and intake. They weren't designed for you to open them up and then clean out the dust and the dust bunnies. So they would get full of dust and hair and whatever thing that clogs your wind flow. And then I think it was the GPU would melt off your motherboard. I think it was the GPU. It might have been the CPU. Something was melting off the motherboard, and then you get the red ring of death, basically an error code saying, hey, there's something wrong with your system. And you had to open it up. And I remember back then people would have all sorts of different solutions, right? You need to get a hair dryer, and then you need to put it on its side, and then you have to melt it back on and stuff like that. You needed to learn to solder, basically, to repair your 360 after the Red Ring of Death happened. But there's plenty of things to play on the 360, like Geometry Wars Retro Evolved, game designs, and the Ultima Online, of course, Vampire Crawlers, all tons of great things for the Xbox fan. But there's my story on the Xbox 360, or I should say Keza's story on her experiences of the 360 20 years later, coming this December. And give me your segue, your joke, if you have a joke.
I was applauding this. The news. Okay, my joke. Why doesn't Mike Tyson use PlayStation?
Why?
He's an ex-boxer.
Oh.
I'll see another one.
Oh no! Wait.
I have another joke about EA Sports, and for $9.99 you can purchase the punchline.
Oh, and you're not even a gamer, and you know that joke. EA, of course, famous for upcharging like crazy. Pay the developers, more like pay my stockholders. Okay, that's our story. Let's roll our final reel for today.
Like as soon as you get a job somewhere, be aware that they're planning your obsolescence of your job. That is the entire goal of every company, is to eliminate expenses they don't want anymore.
Yeah.
And then they replace you with a machine. I'll do it because they only got to pay the guy who comes to repair the machine every once in a while. All right. And they don't have to buy his insurance. So you're getting replaced by a machine. It's just a matter of time. This day in history. Yes, we're almost done with Thanksgiving edition. Getting ready to watch a lot of football, I suppose, and who knows. And cook. I guess I'm going to cook out in the grill today. I'm going to cook a couple of Cornish game hens. Nobody coming over, so I kind of, big family stuff. To me, Thanksgiving was always deer hunting. So when I was a kid, 5/11.
I think I told that story yesterday on my stream after the show. I was like, yeah, for me, it always was. Everyone goes hunting and then we eat food at a big table, and that was the end. And it was like a long time, right? Like a week or 2 weeks long thing, something like that.
Yeah,
I don't know how long it was. I was a child. I had no.
Hunting season is 9 days. Traditional Wisconsin deer hunting season begins the Saturday before Thanksgiving and ends the Sunday after Thanksgiving. And most people have all those days off except for 3. And in Wisconsin, school's in session for those 3 days when I was a kid.
Nobody showed up at school? But you can get an
excuse.
Yeah.
No. You get an excuse. Get an excuse from your parents to say, I'm going deer hunting. And they'd accept it, right? Yeah. They also had hunter safety courses at school. This is a different time. You brought your gun to school for hunter safety. Yes, I am not on a bus, obviously, but your parents bring you to school after school. They bring your gun to school, or the gun you're going to use for hunting, and they trained you how to use your gun at the school. Different time. 511 on this day, Clovis the First, king of the Franks. They might still do it in Wisconsin. I don't know. I mean, I graduated 40 some years ago. King of the Franks, anyway, king of the Franks, not the Frankfurters, but the Franks, and ruler of much of Gaul. He had a lot of Gaul from 481 to 511, a key period during the transformation of the Roman Empire into Europe. Died in Paris on this day. Anyway, Clovis the First died on this day in 511. Long diatribe about him being the leader of Gaul. He was the leader of Gaul for 30 years. 1874, that's what he used to call France. That's why he used the word Franks. How come we don't call people from France Franks anymore? When did that stop? 1874, Chaim Weizmann, the first president of Israel and the guiding force behind the World Zionist Organization, was born. Zionist has turned into a slur. 1919, the Treaty of Neuilly, outlining the post-World War I peace terms for Bulgaria, was signed between the defeated country and the Allied powers. Poor Bulgaria. They got defeated. Oh, no. They were on the wrong side. 1924, the first Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade, going on right now, it's on TV, was held in New York City, and it became known as American tradition, especially known for its huge balloons, which were introduced in 1927. The founder of Macy's, and his wife died on the Titanic. And a lot of people know that. He was an old man. He gave up his seat on the lifeboat to women and children, and his wife stayed with him. 1942, the French Navy scuttled 73 ships at Toulon in order to avoid German seizure during World War II. So the French sinked a bunch of ships. We will show you. We will sink everything. 1951, American filmmaker Catherine Bigelow was born. She was the first Academy Award winning woman director for The Hurt Locker in 2008. That's now been 2 because a year before. There was
that a year before?
Everything
I thought
All
it was
at Once.
3 years ago now.
Everything All at Once. That one, when did that win the Oscar? Whatever it was a few years ago.
No, it wasn't that. It was a film about being like a homeless nomad living in. That's the one. Another woman won. I can't remember the name of the movie.
Oh, so there's been 3 now.
Yeah. No.
Okay, 1953.
Woman did not direct Everything Everywhere All at Once. That was made by men. Only been 2.
Straighten me out later. Correct me later. I can only take so much in one day, right? I'm like, I got nothing wrong. 1953, Eugene O'Neill, playwright and author, died at the age of 65. He wrote A Long Day's Journey into Night. Interesting play I would like to see on stage. 1973, the U.S. Senate voted overwhelmingly in favor of Gerald R. Ford succession to vice president. That's right, we are a liberal democracy and a constitutional republic. 1978, gay activist Harvey Milk was assassinated.
Oh, what a terrible day.
In San Francisco, along with Mayor Moscone.
A sad film, but it's a great film.
With who was one of the first openly gay elected officials in U.S. history, was assassinated. His killer, Dan White, was later convicted of manslaughter after successfully allegedly clinical depression. See that clinical depression, you can excuse anything. You can shoot 2 people.
I don't know why men get angry at gay men. It's like they're not taking any women away. They're like emptying the field, dude. Less men to compete with and more women. Like, why are you angry and you kill him?
I think his assassin was also gay, so that's
there was a jealous lover. I haven't seen the film. I'm a lie. I know it's a good film, but I haven't seen it.
I'm not saying a jealous lover or anything. I think there is a distinct possibility he was also gay. I am not saying that is true, but I remember at the time the trial was going on because I was alive. I remember actually I was watching football. It was a Sunday. It wasn't a Thanksgiving. And they interrupted football to say the mayor of San Francisco had just been assassinated. And along with, what was his title? Harvey Milk, who was, I It doesn't even say what his office was. That's so sad. Can you just tell us what office he held in the city government? Anyway, he was like the city council or something, right? So he was just there in the way. Who knows who he was there to assassinate? One or the other. I don't remember. True. But they both died. Dianne Feinstein became mayor that day. This is the first time anybody ever heard of Dianne Feinstein because she was on TV holding the mayor as he died, I believe. Yeah. 1983, revised code of canon law signed by Pope John Paul II in January took effect. So if that affected you, let me know. I don't know, 1983, we know John Paul II was covering up for a lot of pedophiles, so his legacy's been tainted. 2014, British mystery novelist P.D. James, or in the sobriquet, Queen of Crime, primarily for her 14 novels featuring the fictional detective Adam Dalgliesh. Have you heard of these people? I have not heard of her. Adam Dalgliesh of Scotland Yard, died in Oxford, England. Maybe that's the basis for some movies I've seen, but anyway, it was the day she died in England. P.D. James.
She's just a novelist. She's a famous novelist. Wrote about a Scotland Yard detective. So,
man, when I think of British crime novelists, I think Agatha Christie, and it kind of stops there, right?
Yeah, she just she made a lot of books, and they were really acclaimed, and she died, and that's why people know who she is, because she made books.
Wasn't James the fake last? Wasn't James the fake last name of that Twilight author? Or no, is it Twilight or the other ones? No, the 50 Shades of Grey.
Yeah, I was going to say, Twilight author was never a secret about her name. It's always been the same.
No, 50 Shades of Grey. 50 Shades of Grey was a fan fiction off Twilight, but it was James was a fake name that lady made up.
Yeah.
A bunch of facts about Seattle that don't exist, which is hilarious. Never been to Seattle in her life, but somebody an expert on it. 50 Shades of Grey, again, not a well-written book. 1895, Nobel Prizes were established.
Not saying fan fiction writers can't write, but they can't afford
made a lot of money.
An editor and a publishing company. They just put it on the internet.
You could still sell the movie rights, and that's what she did. It's like, ugh.
Lucky.
And I put 50 Shades of Grey in a big poem I wrote right not long before that, and it looked like I borrowed that term from that stupid novel.
Nah, it's already a saying.
Yeah, it was already a saying. In 1895, Nobel Prize was established, though I got a tickle at the back of my throat. Through the will drawn up by Alfred Bernard Nobel, the Swedish chemist. That's what I was going to say earlier. We're talking about Sweden, right? Hey, Nobel's birthday. Nobel Prizes. So I was going to say that because that's the first thing that popped up when I read it. Anyway, he was an industrialist who invented dynamite and other more powerful explosives, which killed many, many people. The Nobel Prize was established in this day in 1895. It's also the birthday of Jimi Hendrix. Jimmy! Happy birthday to 27 Club. Poor guy. He was born November 27, 1942 in Seattle. We were speaking of Seattle just a minute ago. We're talking about Twilight, and we're talking about 50 Shades. And he died September 18th in 1970, age of 27, in London. So Jimmy lived a short life, but he did a lot. He was in the United States Army Airborne. So he was one of them guys that jumps out of airplanes, and after he got out, he became a guitar legend. He played for many legends on the way, including Sam Cooke. He was the guitar player that everybody showed up to see, and it's his birthday, so happy birthday to Jimmy. 1940, Bruce Lee was born. Bruce Lee and Jimi Hendrix had the same birthday. Yeah, well, it wasn't necessarily Thanksgiving or even a Thursday, right?
Oh, right. Sorry, I forgot Thanksgiving's always a Thursday. I don't know why I thought it was a.
Hey, he was born on the 27th.
Yeah.
Yeah. So 1940 was Bruce Lee's birthday. American-born actor. So I was born American, and he's 2 years older than Jimi Hendrix. Exactly. We already covered Catherine Bigelow, and her cousin Kevin. 1957, Carolyn Kennedy. who's in the news recently. American attorney, author, and ambassador, daughter of JFK, her son is running for Congress, and her daughter, unfortunately, has terminal cancer at 35, which is depressing.
Ooh.
1960,
Unlucky
Yulia
family,
Taimo. The Kennedy tragedies just keep going. They just keep going. And her brother, of course, died in the plane.
Pissed off a freaking witch or something.
Yeah.
In Ireland.
A leprechaun. It was a leprechaun, man. They stole his shillelagh. I don't know. 1960, Yulia Tymoshenko, the prime minister of Ukraine, was born. He's the asshole that was in charge before the current guy, Zelensky. And we don't want to talk about him and other things that are today besides Thanksgiving. Holy crap, it's a lot of things. It's Thanksgiving Day, of course. It's the fourth Thursday in November. They decided a long time ago. It's a National Day of Mourning is also the fourth Thursday in November because, I don't know, they decided that was a good day too. So while you're giving thanks, think about all the people that you're missing, which is kind of how it goes anyway. It's also a turkey-free Thanksgiving, which is what I do because I really don't like turkey.
I love turkey, but only lunch meat turkey. No. I don't like it straight. Like, I like it cold and, like, on a sandwich. I don't know what's wrong. I know Rick will be celebrating turkey-free Thanksgiving because Rick is a vegan. So.
We're having a couple of Cornish game hens.
Yeah, and, you've always done that. You really like those the most. Yeah.
They can throw them on a grill. They cook a hell lot faster than a turkey. Like a tenth the size of a turkey. It's National Bavarian Cream Pie Day, which I did not get one of those, but I do have a custard pie. Which,
I'm going to be making an apple crumble tomorrow to celebrate my Philly anniversary. So,
song by Led Zeppelin, by the way, not just a Pornhub feature. National Craft Jerky Day, also not a Pornhub feature. It's Craft Jerky Day. So anyway, those are things. We got a lot of food today, thankfully, right? Thankfully, there's a lot of food things today. So those are your mispronunciations, your bad jokes, your stupidity, your arguments about minutia, and everything else we can come up with that falls out of our brains on Thursday, November 27th, 2025, on Before the Following Things. Bavarian cream pie and jerky.
All those
craft
things.
Jerky.
Put them all on your
buy in the
gob.
store. Yeah. Shove it in your face. Everything in your face today. And then start that diet tomorrow. Or New Year's, day after New Year's. Anyway, let's have the spin. Or the,
we don't need the spin, but we have my puns. I have 3 bad puns for you.
Your puns.
So get your soundboard ready.
Ready.
Did you guys ever hear about that farmer who won the Nobel Peace Prize?
No,
he was outstanding in his field. Oh. I feel like I've done that pun 50 times now. I feel like...
Yeah, it is a groaner.
But some people haven't heard it, so I'll do it again.
Groaner,
what were the last words Jimi Hendrix said before he died?
Oh, excuse me while I kiss the sky.
You got it right. That's what they said. Don't accuse me while I kiss the sky. Peace out, losers.
Wow.
There you go.
That's just one lyric I could pull out of the air from Jimmy Hendrix.
Everyone's famous lyric.
Of course, that's
all along the watchtower.
Everybody's favorite.
That's the only one I know, but that's technically a Bob Dylan song, right? Not a Hendrix. He covered it.
Right.
But he gets the credit for that song.
He covered
Dylan does. Anyways, not me bringing up Bob Dylan. We're going to have to make everyone in chat take a shot. I attempted to turn into meat jerky. Oh, sorry. I attempted to turn into a meat jerky gourmet specialist. Yet my endeavors were excessively evaporated.
Oh, man. All right, there we go. Have some duck for Thanksgiving. All right,
let's look up if there's any international days today because it may be Thanksgiving in the United States.
Day of
and it was Thanksgiving a month ago in Canada, but there's also other things happening. Why do I keep on accidentally closing my international? Oh, here it is. So, actually, there's nothing today. Sorry, I lied. There's absolutely nothing happening today on the International Observances.
That's right. Be thankful for that. Yeah, something to be thankful for.
I think Santa Claus started already. I don't remember when that starts. It's a Dutch holiday. I think it finishes in like the 12th or the 14th. They don't.
Santa Claus?
Santa
Well,
Claus.
ho, ho, ho.
So Santa Claus.
Okay, hi. He says
Santa
hi.
Claus is the same guy that inspired Saint Nicholas, like the actual real man. And he came from Turkey and he gives people gifts. But it's I always say the 6th, but it's actually the 6th of December is when it's celebrated. But I thought there was a day when he comes on the boat. But I can't find that information. I obviously I'm not a child, so I never celebrated this.
It's not today anyway, so.
It could have been today. I thought it was in November. Sorry, it is November, but it's on November 16th, so we missed that. Sorry, we missed the Santa Claus parade on the boat as he arrives to Turkey to give them all their gifts.
Dump out a beer. dump out a beer for Santa Claus. Yeah.
Well, what you do is you put gifts in shoes.
On.
And then for the kids. So it's kind of where the stockings things came from, I think. Original stocking. You put a gift in their shoe. Right. But we're done with today's Thursday 15. I hope you enjoyed. I will see you guys tomorrow for my Philly anniversary. That's still happening. But also my Friday news dump here with On Before Coffee. So make sure you subscribe to the Before Coffee podcast. Toxicality on Twitch. Turn those notifications on. Support us on Patreon. Please subscribe to us. We need more subscribers to let YouTube know that we're worth something. Because I guess without it, they think we're
worth it.
Without subscribers, we're
worth an hour of your time.
Yeah.
Worth an hour of your time while you do the dishes or something.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So we will see you for that. Here is our Thanksgiving themed mic drop moment.
Thanksgiving
hopefully not copyrighted, blocked.
And that means getting together
well,
with family
SNL does
who
copyright
you
block
might
us,
not
but
see eye to eye
it should
with.
be easier to
But
deal
this
with.
is-
Thanksgiving, Leslie Jones
This is
will
Comedy
leave your
Central,
house and
anyway.
politely
It's not.
interject
It's
when
the
the
Daily Show.
conversation becomes political.
I'm just thankful that Roe v. Wade was finally overturned.
That's the conversation you want to start right now at this table while everybody's happy during Thanksgiving. While we trying to be happy. You know what? Have some dry ass turkey and shut the up.
It's insane.
The way I see it, the new generation are all a bunch of lazy socialists.
Who is you calling lazy? You can't even bring proper pie to Thanksgiving. Kissing the kids in the mouth. That's nasty.
Oh no.
Plus,
Not the
Leslie
child,
can
not the
conduct
child.
conversations before they even begin.
Yeah.
Try that
Oh,
MAGA
God.
shit.
She's so funny. I can't remember her name right now, even though I heard her name earlier today.
Leslie Jones!
Yeah, she's so
Leslie
funny.
Jones keeps saying it all over again. Yeah.
Anything any good that comes to her, she deserves.
Leslie goes back to basics.
Back to the
Just
basics.
say, these transgender people.
Oh God, not the air quotes. Just stop speaking about political things at the table, please.
Leslie will even stop by the kids' table to teach them how to shout.
Let's
down
not act
their
like you don't have a
opinions.
controversial opinion now.
No, okay, look. From the diaphragm. You ready? 1, 2, 3.
Your family is hard. Watching Leslie Jones shut them down is easy.
And
There you go. You wear out your voice doing it from your lungs.
Cherokee land.
All this land is Cherokee.
Shut the fuck up. Nobody wants to hear about your opinion. We're here to eat.
Don't agree with me.
Thank you for informing.
Shut up. Who invited me to this?
Available for all holidays. with
Exactly.
All right. Thanks, Leslie. Great. Hilarious.
Right
This must be
on.
from ages ago because the things don't work.
2 years ago, it said. Be sure to hit the like, subscribe, and notify buttons, and follow our other channels, Toxic Alley, History of Gravy, and Scratchy Old Records.